All right. Greetings and heavenly salutations to all. All right. Master Ashep here, your host for today's presentation of emotional intelligence, right? Which is a Chi lunch and learn presentation. Just as a reminder, these lunch and learns are short yet informative information regarding certain aspects of health that we may or may not be aware of, and organized in such a way that we may find benefit in the information as far as progressing our overall health. All right. So, with that being said, we're just gonna share our theme song video. And once that's done, we're going to get right up into the discussion, the emotional intelligence from a masculine perspective. That is a masculine perspective. So here we go. Let's play the video. Then we begin the show. Here we go. You won't know who I am from what you perceive, but if you listen when we speak, then you will receive a glimpse of who I am, and then you'll believe and have a life of peace, because your soul is at ease. You see, our source is conceived, which means that we were here before the bird and the bee. Now if you have not guessed, I am eternity. But now if you have guessed, and you guessed correctly, that simply means we share the same destiny. To realize we are the God and Trinity that is talked about in Christianity. Now some will say that vanity or go as far as insanity. It's because they believe in Western theology, but as for we, you see, we choose ancient Kemetic philosophy. Not to say that's the only path to immortality. That's the path for we, this life, you see, as we devote our life to helping others be free, so they in turn can reach their full divinity. And this is done because of the he in I and the I in he. Peace and wholeness. All right. Welcome back again to the Lunch and Learn Emotional Wellness. And while the video was playing, we was in the process of sending the link out, and we have a couple of different groups or two to send this out to at the same time. So we just did the Signal. Now we're going to go to Telegram and send this link out in Telegram to a couple of different groups here. So we do that, and we'll go with one more in Telegram. We'll go with the leaders in general. All right, so welcome once again, emotional intelligence, and let's do a brief give thanks. Was reminded that every time it comes to mind, we should always give thanks personally. So we give thanks now for this moment in time and place and space to come together as one in one to experience one. We give thanks to all forms of our higher selves for this assistance, source energy, Mother God. The partner through the Orishas, the Ifa, ascended masters, angels, archangels, deities, benevolent ancestors, and spirit guides. We give thanks for this opportunity to experience self in its fullness. And for this, we say right on, Amen and Ashe. Emotional intelligence from a masculine perspective. Again, this is a lunch and learn, so it's going to be short and sweet and informative. And the disclaimer is also that this information is coming from my person's own theory, as well as the experience of working this theory. So here we go. First off, well, let's get up to the slide presentation so it'll keep things flowing right along. Let's see here. Here we go. Emotional intelligence, a lunch and learn presentation. So pretty much from a masculine perspective, we're going to look at what are emotions, what is their purpose, how do they affect our health, and tips on cultivating a healthy emotional state. Again, coming from my personal experiences of working with the emotions over the last several years. Several years. Okay, so leave it at that. And first of all, what are emotions? And this is something that most of us have probably heard of before. If not, it kind of makes sense. Emotions. Dash motions, emotions, maybe looked at as energy in motion, right? Energy in motion. And energy in motion is creation on the universal level and inner chi in motion on a personal level. And they both have the same purpose. And, just a quick look into this creation piece, because generally speaking, creation is moving. They say the scientists say the universe is still expanding. Everything is moving in the universe, in the multiverse. The atoms, everything is one of the more common building blocks is the atoms, which is always moving. So the universe is always moving. Emotions, creation in itself is always moving. That's the nature of creation. So in a sense, creation in and of itself is emotions, energy and emotions. And again, we say our inner chi, which is this chi, the prana, the life force, the breath of life, the Holy Spirit. This chi is just a play on the, or another name rather for um, this one energy that sustains the universe, or that everything comes from. The different forms comes from this one energy. But yet, when it's personalized inside this physical body, we call that inner chi, the chi that's on the inside as opposed to the chi that's on the outside. Even this laptop is chi doing this thing, and how it does is chi. So everything is chi in a sense, or any life force in a sense. So again, what's on the inside is our personal chi, inner chi, or energy, inner chi. We love playing with words. Okay, so and what is that purpose? Basically, to serve as a tool of communication, allowing the sending and receiving of information. Again, it's just a reminder, this masculine principle can be very logical. It's very logical, very common sense like, and very direct, straight to the point. Not a lot of fluff. So, and what does that look like? Communication and information. So basically, back to creation and our personal life force, right? On the universal level, it manifests as source energy, providing communication to creation on what to do by providing information in the form of light. And creation sending information back to source energy on how it did what it did. Just a few ways to look at that. Source energy. What we're saying is this energy that was present before the Big Bang. All there was source energy, and we're just using the Big Bang theory because it's something that many people have heard of. Whether it resonates or not, we're using this as an analogy. Use your imagination, if you would, to consider that before the manifest universe, there were no things. Yet all things was contained in the no things because it's just nothing, in a sense, just no things. And so they say the Big Bang came, poof, and then the universe began to expand. Another perspective is light comes from dark. So as the creation began, boom, this energy that was here before the Big Bang is still present. And so my personal suggestion that there's just like the Big Bang in the manifest universe, there is information coming from source in the form of light. We use the black hole as an example. They say the black hole, light doesn't escape the black hole. Yes and no, because at a certain point, light does escape, and that's called the event horizon. Scientists, quantum physics looks at, planets, all things have a black hole. The sun has a black hole, the planet has a black hole, Earth, we have a black hole inside of us. My person says even these chakras are many black holes. So the theory behind the black holes is that at a certain point at what's called the event horizon, it's when light is free to move around. Otherwise, there would be no universe because everything would be in the black hole. So black holes are like throughout the cosmos, and they're the portal. My person sees the black hole as a portal that goes into source energy, no things, only to come back out at a different place or wormhole or vortex, something like that. So again, this is on the universal level, is information being given to creation from source on what to do. The sun go around the earth, what to do. The moon go around the earth, what to do. The trees grow, the leaves fall. It's fall time here in northern hemisphere. This is October 2023 of the Gregorian calendar, so it's the fall season in North America, and the leaves begin to fall. They know what to do, right? So that's basically that. Now, what about us? On the personal level, it manifests as communication from creation, the outer world, anything in the outer world, we creation also, but mainly we're talking about from the outer world, on what's happening, and from source energy on what to do in the form of light as information, and sends what it did and why it did or didn't do it the way it did. Wait a minute. And why it did or didn't do it the way it did. Okay, so basically what we're saying is that personally, we work the same way, the microcosm of the macrocosm. So as the microcosm, our emotions, energy and motion, serves as a tool of communication, from the manifestation or from the outside world. This also comes from source energy as well. However, we're being more specific as we tie this into specifically when we talk about emotions and how they serve us or don't serve us as far as health goes. So what happens is we receive information from around us, people, places, events, circumstances, the weather, we receive information, right? And when we receive this information, we also they have the potential to receive information on what to do about the information, or receive communication. We receive communication, which is information. So we're communicated on what's happening in our environment. And then we have the potential to receive how to respond to what's happening, right? And this is, again, the logical sense is in a perfect world, this is the way we operate. We receive something, communication, this is what's happening. And then we receive information on how to respond to it. But what happens a lot of times, we may receive information from the outside, and before receiving, well, receive communication from the outside, and before we receive the information on how to respond, we automatically respond somehow, some way. And this is where we get up into a lot of people talking about don't be emotional or have an emotional state. And we're alluding to having an emotional state that's not benefiting, benefiting one. So this is the gist of it. We can get a little bit specific and, again, personal testimony. Some of the ways that this has manifested is someone says something, right? Or does something, does and or says something. And because of certain programmings and conditionings from childhood, certain traumatic experiences, some things that was unpleasant, didn't feel good. We didn't know why they didn't feel good. We just know they didn't feel good, and we held on to this experience of something that don't feel good. This emotion don't feel good. Who was something was communicated to us, and we was like, "Oh, this don't feel good," without understanding why it didn't feel good. One of the things my person has done was what to do not to avoid this type of feeling. So we started thinking and maneuvering and, when to manipulate certain situations so that it don't feel this unpleasant feeling, over time. So now my person is at the point of, okay, again, talking about emotions and from the general sense of it's just communication. But specifically because a lot of us, personally, yours truly included, at times does not allow our emotions to serve us, but we're being served by the emotions. And again, having these unpleasant experiences because we simply come straight back, react without responding. So why is that? What should deal with that? So basically, the suggestion is we have two main emotions, right? Two main emotions. We love the law of polarity, the duality polarity. Love is an emotion, they say. It's an action, it's a love, you know. But there's also the other side of love. Some may say hate, but some may say fear as well. So we're going to go with love and fear. And with love um, denotes trust as well. Because when there's love, there's trust. They generally go together. And fear, then it goes with doubt. You're afraid and you doubt it will work out. You have doubt that it will be a success. You have doubt that you will feel good about it, whatever the case may be. And how we feel about any particular person, place, or thing may have a beneficial or detrimental effect on our physical body over time. Either a long and healthy life or a short and unhealthy life. Again, because emotions, energy in motion, one of the best ways that they serve us or to look at them is simply communication. They allow the communication between things, between everything, really, communication. And the communication is done in the form of, say, light and information, right? And we have the choice, right? And when we receive this communication from our environment, we can receive this communication in love, or we can see this communication in fear. And what determines how we receive this communication is the information that's on the inside that we tell ourselves. Either this information is coming from what we call our higher self or our lower self. But the information is coming from somewhere on the inside. Could be coming from a program, a hurt place. That information comes up. So when this information comes up, so we're communicating stuff from the outside, and we receive information says, "Oh, this is remind us." It may not be intentionally conscious, but the subconscious from programming and conditioning says, "Oh, we was hurt like this before, and they're doing the same thing that so and so did. So let's protect ourselves." In a sense, emotions, communication, and so then we communicate, our unpleasant, how we feel about the situation back. Communication that whole starts a whole cycle. It can start a whole cycle when someone is mature enough to be like, "Hey, wait a minute. Someone is triggered. I'm triggered. You're triggered. We trigger. Let's calm down, relax, and let's continue sharing, communicating, so we get the proper information about the situation, so that we can have our emotions be somewhat at ease. In other words, so our emotions at ease is our emotion of love and trust. So that if we have fear and doubt, through communication, we can work things out to experience more love and trust as opposed to fear and doubt. Okay, and so this is some stuff that science talks about it also. That how does this affect our physical body, our overall health? Because with this vibrational love and trust, a couple of things happen. One, our muscles and tissues are more relaxed, and the second thing is hormones is pumped into the body. Hormones such as dopamine, endorphins, and oxytocin. Well, that's the way they spell it. Oxytocin. Oh, let's go to the comment section, uh, just in case someone has a comment. Oh, yes. Ashe, give thanks. Yes, I will. Yes, Dr. U's mom. She's a beautiful inspiration to us all, as we all somewhat adopted siblings, adopted children. Our brother, Dr. U, so spiritually speaking, our mama, you know, yes, I will. So give thanks for your support always. And then we have the fear and doubt. So fear and doubt is another emotion that, doesn't serve us, rather, is more detrimental than beneficial. And with this fear and doubt, a couple of things happen. Our muscles and tissue are tighter, and hormones like adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine are released. You know, and again, these are some things that most of us are familiar with by this point. They say stress kills. This is part of the reason why stress kills, because stress, you're in that fight or flight. You fear, yeah, I'm worried, all something gonna happen. You're in the state of being. All these hormones are shut out to the body. And over time, it does detrimental things, wears your body down. Whereas a love and trust, it's just, it's always half full. There's a silver lining. There's always a solution. That dopamine, you feel good. It's that joy of life. It just, challenges may come, but you're not experiencing the woe is me vibration. What's a challenge? Well, as a child of God, we equipped to handle this. Let's just solve it, solve whatever is happening. Again, this is just giving my personal perspective on emotions. Very logical in a sense. I deal with emotions. So what happens is, again, as we said earlier, how we think and feel about any situation is generally regulated by our 7 major chakras that align the spine. There was a presentation my person did at some point on chakras and your health. Lunch and learn, if we're not mistaken. We did it at some point, but again, there's so much information surrounding chakras these days. We're not going to spend a lot of time, because this lunch and learn is just from a logical perspective, a different look at emotions from a logical perspective, from a masculine perspective, right? And so basically with these 7 major energy centers, this is the key. Let's see what this next slide is. Yeah, when how we think, how we feel, and how we act are aligned with our knowledge and beliefs, then we experience love and trust. And when they don't, then we experience fear and doubt. And this is generally where the rubber meets the road as far as emotions and what happens when we receive this communication from our outside world. And then we have this information about the communication, what is being communicated. We think about it a certain way, processing, we may feel a certain way about it. And these feelings, again, is information. What we feel about a situation is still information, as our energy is in motion that is not seen, but is felt. Still energy in motion. We feel this energy in motion, and this energy in motion has some information to it. Either we feel, oh, we don't like, or this feels good. Yeah, either one. Then how we act, again, energy in motion, how we respond to it, all these things, again, whenever these things are in line, whatever we think about a situation, we could think the best or the worst. We could think, oh, this is great, this is wonderful, even if it's something we call tragic or not good, we could say, well, man, this wasn't good, but there's a lesson here. There's a, the law of cause and effect that says there's a certain cause that, why this happened. The law of correspondence says if we feel unpleasant about this experience, then there's something unpleasant about what's on the inside. So again, these are just different ways that my person has learned, is cultivating, managing its emotions from an intellectual perspective. Again, logic. We say, okay, we feel a certain way. My person's default now is to reflect, more and more. It's not all the time, because sometimes the reaction comes on out there. However, more and more, my person is, as we said this, we are aware of any feelings that is not love and trust. If there's fear and doubt, we're aware of that. And we can have the internal conversation with self to resolve it before it expresses itself outside. It's been a journey, because again, it began intellectually to think this is possible. And then we begin to practice it. And as a result of practicing, putting it in play, we say, oh, this shit really works. I mean, it takes some time. The same as going to the gym or losing weight or anything that we wish to change or correct, right? Time plus consistency equals result. So this is my person's, cliff note version of um, looking at the emotions, seeing them for what they are, and using this information on what they are in a way that serves itself. So again, back to these chakras. Let's go back. So uh, generally speaking, the first five from the root, the red, orange, yellow, green, and blue, from the first five chakras from our tailbone where we sit to our throat chakra. Generally speaking, there's an association specifically with an emotion. Root chakra, you see the picture there, root chakra, fear, the sacral chakra, worry, the solar plexus, anger, the heart chakra, sadness, and the throat chakra, grief, generally speaking. So this is an idea, right? If we feel one of those emotions, or if our feelings, if we label our feelings one of those emotions, because anger is just the word they would use to describe the type of emotion. What does it feel like? It feels like anger. What does anger feels like? It feels like you want to knock a nigga out. Like you want to choke. I'm going to choke. Feel like you got to do something. That's what it feels like. What does fear feel like? Fear feels like we don't, we're stuck, frozen. We don't want to move. We don't want to do it. We're afraid. So we just stop. What does worry feel like? Worry is kind of like excitement, but the reverse of excitement. You don't want to do it, but you're doing it. And while you're doing it, there's this feeling because you don't want to do it. It's there, we don't want to do it. What we're doing, we worry we're going to do it. Who's going to, we go on and on. But again, for my person looking at emotion, this is generally how they work. Again, there was a whole nother presentation on it. So we can just get back to this simplified version of emotions, right? So this is the chart that my person actually been using over the years. Started probably maybe almost 10 years ago, about 10 years ago, using this chart. And so again, you looking at the seven major energy centers, those chakras, right? And those emotions, the fear, the worry, the anger, the sadness, the grief. And 6 and 7, lack of insight and lack of connection. So basically on this chart, my person identified certain things that will let it know when this this is my person how reprogrammed itself. Going back to the fear, for example. If my person is afraid, if it aware this vibration of fear, it moves. It moves and breathes to release, to break up the energy and to release it out the body. Because it goes against what my person believes as a child of God. As a child of God, God, Allah, Jehovah, Lord Krishna, God, the creator, source and whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of indications or suggestions that we are children of God, a child of God. As a child of God, you have the same problems as God. It's in the spiritual DNA. And we've heard, whether we all of us adhere to it or not, we've heard that, within God has no lack. God created everything, so everything is available to us as a child of God. But if there's any fear that there is lack, there's not enough of, you know, then that goes against the belief. So then that would cause that would call fear. Okay, if there's a belief, right, thinking, oh, there's not enough, then there's actions that back it up, right? Go ahead and steal something. We want to do something, go against our character because we got to get this money, you know, whatever, because we're afraid that we ain't gonna have enough, or we need to do this because it ain't gonna be around for long. Let's just hold on to it because it may, whatever the case may be. This is the manifestation. This is our energy in motion, which we may call the manifestation that we would call fear. So again, what a person does is says, okay, as a child of God, you know, why not just create it? Understand the law of creation, how to manifest it. And again, this is just one example, using one of the so-called emotions of fear, of the 5 major emotions that are associated with our 7 major energy centers. And again, because this is a lunch and learn, we're not gonna dive too deep, you know, but yeah, we wanted to share the information that again we most people may be familiar with, but just maybe not thought about in a certain way. So to recap, to sum it up, again, let's see, there's no summation slide, so we go back to the beginning slide. So to sum this thing up, right, and a quick closing out, emotional intelligence, a lunch and learn presentation, discussing from a masculine perspective, right? What are emotions? From a masculine perspective, simple logic, energy, and motion. And then as though creation is always moving, there's a saying the only constant is change. Creation itself is emotion. It's emotional, baby. It's emotional. Some even say, my person has saying that the reality of duality is bipolarity, which is to indicate that it's not just emotional, baby. It's bipolar. It just changed. And if you're not hip to this change from one extreme to the other, from summer to winter, sometimes, then in fall and in spring season, you're not sure which season it is. Damn, you're gonna be summer, you're gonna be winter. Which one is you? A little bit bipolar one. Nothing but energy and motion. That's all it is, energy and motion. And the purpose is for communication. And communication is simply nothing more than the sharing of information. You sending and receiving information is communication. So emotions, energy and motion allows for the sending and receiving of information, right? And how do they affect our health? Well, um, because if we look at again this duality perspective of the emotions, on one side you have something we look at love. Love is an emotion. So the other side is hate, or you could say fear. My person says fear. So love and fear, two sides of the same coin. One of the emotions of love, you want to do stuff and help, and oh yes, it feels good. As we discussed, certain endorphins and oxytocin, and adrenaline. It's like this, not adrenaline, dopamine. Yeah, dopamine. Dopamine comes out. It feels good that you want to share and spread this love. When the fear comes in, it's like, we ain't doing that. We close up our heart. We got to protect ourselves. We ain't doing nothing. This or the other. And those, that's when the adrenals comes out. The neurosporin. The those hormones that are not very beneficial for us. This is how our emotions, our inner chi emotions, affect our health. How we perceive, the communication from the outside world. What do we tell ourselves about it? Then what we tell ourselves about it, how we act on it. So, that's the basis of it. And tips on cultivating a healthy emotional state. For my person, what it looks like again is understanding when something happens is unpleasant. Whether it be on the job, family member, friend, loved one, BFF. Sometimes people, the news, when we hear about the war in Israel, sometimes when we hear about something, turn the TV on and watch the news. There's some communication. We're being communicated some information, emotions. Oh, and then how we process that will determine how the emotions, how our emotions will either serve us, be beneficial or detrimental. And again, because of free will, everyone is free to feel how they feel. We're just suggesting that certain emotions um, allows for more deterioration of the physical body, and certain emotions allows for more vibrant health of the emotional body. So that is it in a nutshell. If anyone have any questions, feel free to type them in the comment section there, or if this information was good, but maybe there's a little bit more clarity, feel free to reach out. There's the phone number there, and we can even probably scroll across this bottom here. Let's see. There we go. That's the website there. Because my person does have uh, counseling sessions. Some are free. One is free. I have a spirit coaching. Spirit coaching is the long-term sessions, like life coaching, spirit coaching. But there's also spiritual counseling. About 20-minute free session just to chop it up. See what's happening. Then there's the well, of course, heart touch therapy to help release certain emotions, and those may be the main three that we really trim down, our offers to be more specific, And of course, there's a shop for crystal. So there you have it. Give thanks for tuning in. And even if you watch the replay, if there's any questions, any insights, anything that even that may be contrary, we wish to dialogue about, feel free. My person is here and available. And again, part of the disclaimer, this is its perspective on emotions, their purpose, how they work, and how they cause ill health and what to do about them. And as they say, my person is still a work in progress in itself. So we look forward to, again, feedback, not just from the presentations, but for anything that will, communicate. We're open to all communication from the outside. To let my person know, hey, you're doing a good job. We see your presentations. We see you're living it, or well, you see your presentations, but you could, you can peek or tweak a little bit better because it's good information, but we want to see you manifesting it more. So that's the whole idea. The information is great. My person is looking to embody the word, integrate the word, become the word. So again, if there's any insights on how my person can do a better job, we're open. We're all ears. We're listening to the communication, you see. So, and that's that. All right, give thanks, Mama. Yes, I will. And also, we might as well, before we leave, we do want to shout out the, I want to say monthly dance class, or healing class rather, that Mama Yes, I will presents on Sundays at Creative Suitland. This is the dance class. Well, actually, it's the West African drum and dance that takes place every Sunday. Unless there's a holiday, they're closed or something. But generally speaking, every Sunday at Creative Suitland, where the drum class starts at 2 o'clock. Traditional West African drumming, the rhythms, songs, and the information of where the rhythm comes from, the songs and interpretation, things like that, which is provided by, generally speaking, Dr. Yu, one of the also co-founders of the Collective Health Initiative. And that's from 2 to 3:45. All ages are welcome, especially if the youth is able to hold it and to play the drum for the most part. Young as 5, he is taught. So and as well as the age to the top, as long as you're able to feel confident enough that to hit the drum, then welcome, come on to that class from 2 o'clock to 3:30. Then at 3:45, that's when the dance class takes place. And usually there are different teachers that provide dance class. And on the 29th, Mama Sawu will be instructing. And generally, our classes is advertised more so like maybe for seniors class, seniors class. And And whether you've been dancing for a while or not, again, we encourage you to come because it's not so much that it's super easy, but the moves and things are just more fluid and more graceful and more flowing. Just my personal take on it. It's again, and it's more healing. Because music is medicine, and we talk about the traditional culture of West African drumming and dancing. It is definitely a spiritual healing involved in that. So again, thanks to Mama Iyasawu for bringing that aspect more to the forefront. Um, yeah. So again, see you guys on Sunday. The Chi, there's nothing on. They wouldn't have a date set yet, but look out for. Oh, think November. Anyway, we're gonna have a bitters challenge coming up. The health class you never had. We're gonna talk about bitters. So we talked about sweets. Now we'll talk about bitters. Oh, we got the bitters. All right, again, this is lunch and learn. We still going on and on and on. Let's get out this thing because people got things to do. All right, love you guys, love everyone, love you much, and give thanks for tuning in and see you soon. Peace and wholeness. As we close out the portal, we give thanks for all seen and unseen entity that assisted us in this journey. The portal is open for guidance, the insight, on the ability to reflect on higher vibrations of reality, integrate those to have a closer walk with thee, Mother, Father, God, Source, Energy, and again, all forms of our higher selves. Until we call upon you again in such a way, we bid you adieu. Say good day, right on, amen, and Ache. Ache, yo. Until we call upon you again, till we see you again, be well. The best of thoughts to you and enjoy all of your creations.